I guess the topic for today is kinda unusual, but I would like to share how I budget my photo, video slash tech purchases. I started budgeting them like last year in September, I think, and before, which was quite annoying. I tend to spend some money on stupid buys. I usually bought them based on the impulse because I've seen someone recommended this on YouTube and I was like, oh, I need this. And for example, I think that Panasonic S5 IIX was such a buy for me, and I spent a lot of money. Of course, I learned something. There was a new experience of using full frame Panasonic with anamorphic lenses and stuff like that. But at the end, that was quite expensive solution because I'm already in a Sony ecosystem, so switching systems is very expensive. And then I decided I would like rethink every purchase before I do it, actually. So I created a simple Excel spreadsheet, and it's really simple, but it works really well. And I think I'm limited my stupid buys by like 70 or maybe even 90% using this. And what is it? It is basically a list of the items. So here is the list of the items I would like to buy. I either want them or need them. Some of them I need for my work. Either it's my IT work, some of them I need for photo, video work. And there is a list. Then I have a price in my local currency, which is Polish zloty. Then for reference, I have a price in USD. And then the most important thing is the priority of the item. And the lower the number, the higher the priority. So for example, on this list, this item is priority 1. And priority 1 means I have to buy it as soon as possible, because usually the well-being of my company depends on it. So for example, this item is a SSD drive for my NAS. One of my drives failed, so I have to replace it. It was in RAID 1, but I had to replace it as soon as possible. So I already bought it, but I left it here on the list to show what is really the priority 1. And sometimes the priority 1 can be a camera, SSD card, stuff that I need for my work. Sometimes it might be a computer, because my current computer is too slow. Then a new computer might be a priority 1. And then what is also important, I have a column for each priority, and this basically is a simple formula. It checks what is the priority of the item, and if it's the priority 1, then it's here, and at the end there is a sum, and here you have the sum of the priority 1 items. And actually there is only, it's in USD, and actually at the moment the priority 1 is just 1 item. Actually I already bought it, so I don't have priority 1 items. Then priority 2 is usually the stuff like for example here, the priority 2 is the Godox flag set. I already have it. It's like the item that I could benefit from. It's not like a crucial item that I would like, my company would collapse or I would collapse without that item. But it is usually the item, if I bought it, then I can level up my game. So the flag set was one of these items. I already bought it. I left it here. And then also here I have a moving blankets as priority 2, because in this studio it's quite echoey, and when I record with the shotgun mic, it is quite bad quality. So I would benefit really having some sound blankets, but sound blankets are quite expensive and moving blankets are much less expensive. So I have them at priority 2. My biggest problem is that shipping cost for them is really high, but I would probably buy them end of this month, maybe next month. I can live without them, but At the moment I'm recording with my Mic Mini, and I can record here with my lav mics, so Deity Theos, Mic Mini, DJI Mic 2, but definitely shotgun gives better quality of the sound, and buying the moving buckets I can level up my game, so they have priority 2, and I would probably buy them soon. I can live without them, but the priority means that this would be very helpful. They are not very expensive. It also sometimes depends how expensive the item is. If it's not very expensive, it got higher priority because it's easier. It's easier for me to buy the thing. And then also here, this column, it sums all priority 2 and priority 1 items. So I can see here how much money I have to spend to buy all the priority 2 items. These values, the priority values, are really helpful because I also budget my whole year. It is rather based off my company income and my spendings. I got some recurring spendings, blah blah blah. So I budget every month separately, and I usually budget till the end of the year, and I see how much money I got left. So each month and at the end of the year. So these numbers are quite useful because I can see how much money I have to spend on priority 2 items, and I can like say, okay, this month I can buy 1 or 2 or maybe even all of them, and I can budget this in my main spreadsheet when I budget my company. So this is quite useful. And in these priority columns, then on priority 3, I also add priority 3 on, so it is 1, 2, and 3, and then so I can see what is the number here. Maybe I will do it like that. So I can see what is the number here for my priority 3, or what is the number here for my priority 4. Then it is the same for priority 5, so I got all priorities here. And since the priority 6 is mostly the wants, the things that are either very expensive and they won't impact me that much, this is the here I sum only the priority 6 in the last column, and I rarely check this column, but it's there. And sometimes, so basically I set the priority for the item when I add this item to the list, and sometimes this change over time. If, for example, I see my yearly budget and I see that, oh, okay, I got some surplus of money, so I can recheck, for example, the priority 3 and move it to 2. Sometimes even priority 5 happens and that I buy it. For example, here you can see I have Aputure 1200X, which is here already. I thought about it, and I know that there might be some opportunities for me to use it, even just for learning how to use it, but also there might be some opportunities to use it in a paid job. So I bought it. It was kinda want/need. Since it's quite expensive, it is not that like the benefit would be really high. The benefit ratio per dollar, it won't be that high because I got other lights, so it is not that crazy that it would be very crazy benefit, but it was updated. I've seen that I got some leftover budget from last year, and I was able to move this from the priority 5 to priority 2, let's say, and that's why I bought it. And sometimes some items are pushed back, like there is something is priority 2, and then it turns out I don't need it. I also have some items with priority 2 here. These two, it's tool roof rack for my car. So I haven't bought it yet. It is priority 2 in case I have to transport my a lot of gear somewhere for the shoot, and then I know I have to buy it. So if I know in advance, like a week in advance, that I would travel with a lot of gear, which happened I think last year, so I have to pack my car to the brim, and if I have this roof rack, it would be much easier. I can transport some bigger light modifiers and some light stands there. So it would like make the trip easier and safer, because I don't have really heavy gear inside moving when I drive. So yeah, this has priority 2, because it might be quite important. So priority 2 are usually items that I won't collapse without, but if I buy them, the impact might be huge and they might be very beneficial. And that's it for the priority 2 at the moment. Although I know that my computer is at the moment too slow, my RTX 4080 based one, and sometimes when I edit videos it really struggles. If I got more than 2 4K streams, it would be probably here as a priority 2 soon, or maybe even priority 1. I have to rethink this. I would actually record a separate video about how I choose my future computer. It might happen that I would update the list with the computer, and it would probably have a priority 2 or 1. And then there is a priority 3. These are usually items, for example, here, which are very beneficial for me, but I can live without them. So like this Kupo stand, this is this stand actually. This is I have this stand already, but I have just one of them. And this is the only stand I can put like really heavy light, like a Storm 1200X, because it has only junior pin. And actually this is my go-to stand for any lighting scenarios. So I would love to have 2 or more of them. 2 would be really nice. I don't know if I can afford more, but maybe. So at the moment I have the second one on the list as priority 3, because this would level up my game. But it's quite expensive, as you can see, 330 bucks. But it's very nice on set because it has wheels. I can put a big light like that on that stand, and also I can attach a light on 150 and move it on set with no sweat. This stand is really heavy duty, so very useful tool. That's why it has priority 3. There are more important thing at the moment, and I don't have unlimited budget. That's why some items got priority 3, even though there might be very beneficial for me. What else is priority 3? I probably should create a filter, but it's a Sony teleconverter. I would really like to have a teleconverter for my sports photo shoots. They are mostly hobby shoots. I don't get any money from them. They are kind of useful as some kind of the ad for my business, so it might be beneficial to have it, but it's like 500 bucks. So since the football season or soccer season in Poland just started, I haven't bought it yet, but it's on my list. Not sure I will buy it for this season. Maybe for the next season. We start in September, I think. So it's on the list with priority 3. It is between 3 and 4, to be honest, but since it's not that expensive, it is 3. This one also priority 3. Truss system, I would probably, since it is not that expensive, 330 bucks, I would probably upgrade this to priority 2 and buy this maybe till the end of May. We'll see. But what is good, I can see the list of the items I want or need, and then seeing my monthly and yearly budget, I can choose from the list and put the items there into the main spreadsheet. my business budget, and this is just a photo, video, tech budget. So it's like separate budget, which is just one cell in the main budget, and sometimes few cells, depends how many things I buy in a month. But the truss system I kinda need it for some external, internal shoots. For example, in the studio, if I build the truss above my head, then I can have really nice and steady overhead shot, which is quite useful for gear reviews, because at the moment I have to build the stand every time, mount the camera, and it's very annoying. With the truss, I would have a truss here, and then I attach the camera with super clamp, and it's like 3 minutes and I'm ready to roll. Or even if I got the dedicated camera, I can have it mounted all the time, and that's very, very useful. And also, truss is something that is used during the shoots. So knowing how to build a truss is very important and beneficial. So this is another pro of having a truss, and this what I have here is just a really basic truss system, like 2 pipes system, so the flat one. But if you know how to build that one, it's easy to transit to bigger truss systems. So it's quite beneficial to have a truss, and I can use it here in the studio, and I can use for some external shoots. It would be just 2 by 2 meters, and so 6 by 6, maybe 7 by 7 feet tall and wide, but it would be just perfect fit for the studio, and it will be quite useful for a few different scenarios in the studio and outside. That's why it has priority 3. And then the priority 4 are usually items that would level up my game, but they are really expensive, which means that to buy them, which means it only makes sense to buy them if I have work for them. So for example, here Sony FX6, it is more than $5K US. Sure, I would love to have the internal ND, and it would speed up every of my external shots, but for that price, it is not worth it. I mean, yeah, there is additional experience with FX6 and a cinema camera, and at the end I would love to have 2 FS6s instead of my crappy cameras, or these crappy cameras can be my studio cameras, and I don't have to disassemble the studio to shoot something outside. But FX6 is quite expensive, or is very expensive in my country compared to what we earn here. That's why it has priority 4. If I, for example, have 10 jobs booked for FX6, somebody says, okay, we need FX6 footage, S-Log3, and like having external, and this would slow the workflow. Do you have FX6? Can you record with FX6? And we want to book you for 10 shots, then okay, I'm buying, because that would pay for itself within that job. Or even if the planned job would like pay for 1/3 of this camera, then I can buy it. But other than that, it's a stupid idea to buy it just to play with it for that price. And this was, I guess, the mistake I made last year when I bought S5 IIX, because actually what I paid for S5 IIX was something around this 5K with all the gear I have to buy, like lenses, converters for lenses and stuff like that, the cage, media and all that stuff. So I could actually buy FX6 then, and it would be much better buy. But I was hyped by YouTube hype that this is like some crazy revolutionary camera, and that's why I actually started this budgeting thing to not fall into such traps. What else is for here? Yeah, this is also DJI TTC one set. Lately I'm using time code workflow, which is really nice, and it speeds up the post-production a lot. If I record on my two Sony cameras and my DJI EOS, and I'm using my sound bag, then I could sync all the footage with one click, maybe 2 clicks, it depends. So it is really great, but I have only one timecode generator, which is Zoom F6, and I have to tether the cameras via cable to Zoom F6, and I have to sync when I start recording. I have to sync DJI EOS via cable too. So it is quite annoying. It takes like 5 minutes maybe, and I have to check if the timecode is being recorded to the cameras. So I have to check the levels from time to time if the cable is connected correctly. And sometimes it happens that the channels are switched because it depends which cable I use. So then in post I have to run this footage through additional step, but generally the time code is really time saving. So my workflow, I would also record a separate video about my timecode workflow and how to make it better. And the DJI EOS set would make it better, but it's another $500. So quite expensive for the benefit I get. Maybe the option is to get just one TC1 time generator, and then I can sync my DJI EOS wirelessly, so I don't have to disconnect the microphone each time from the body pack to sync it via cable. That would speed each shoot by 2 minutes, maybe 3, and then I can sync all other devices from TC1, and also TC1 have scratch audio, which might be life-saving if there is something wrong with the timecode. So maybe I would buy one, but still this is like $200. The one unit is $200. If you buy 3, it is cheaper. So it's $500 for 3. And sure, you can benefit from having the TC1 set, but these are 3 new devices that you have to take care of charging. So then it's another tick on your checklist before each shoot. So it is very beneficial to have it, but I got some doubts if it is worth $500 bucks. That's why it is priority 4. If I got some shoots and somebody says that they need timecode footage, then I would buy it immediately, because I can implement the timecode in my current cameras, or if I buy FX6, then also that would be very beneficial. But at the moment, if I'm doing all the work myself, so recording the stuff and also recording the stuff and also doing post-production, it's not a big deal. That my current timecode workflow is enough for me. So that's why it is priority 4. Is there anything else with prior 4? Yeah, there are 2 things I can see that. So this power station, this small power station, 300 watt power station, which might be useful to slim my mobile studio. You can see a video of my mobile studio here. I would record also a new version with the updated version of Mobile Studio, which is smaller. The other one was nice, but it was a bit too heavy. So this power station might be useful for this, but it's again like $200. So it has priority 4, because if I got a project, if I may have project for one of my other channels or for someone else, if I have project like that my mobile studio will be used extensively, then I will buy it. But at the moment I have one power station. It's quite big, it's much bigger than this one, but if I need this one, if it would pay itself after a few shoots, then I will buy it. And another power station, 2400 watt power station. It would be nice to have, for example, for this light, so I can power it without being plugged into the wall, and with 2400 watt power station, they usually have 2000 watt hours capacity, so I would be able to power this at full power for more than 1 hour. That would be very beneficial for some scenarios I got planned. But again, this is the same story. There are more important things with higher priority, like Prio 2 and 3. So it's like this one, I would probably buy this one earlier than FX6, even though both have Prio 4, but the FX6 is much more expensive. But I can see here, okay, I got this with Prio 4. I see what the item is, and I know what are the scenarios I could use it. And then I might decide in the future, when I see my whole budget for the year, okay, I got some additional income. Okay, maybe I could buy this power station because it would be useful on few shoots I have planned for next months. But at the moment, I don't have such plans, so it's just on the list with the Prio 4. So I guess that's it regarding this priority. And then with Prio 5, there are items I would rather want to have than I need. So for example, this Godox trigger for my Sekonic, I can live without it, but I have to, when I measure my flashes and speed lights, I have to trigger them either by the camera or by the physical trigger. So I usually have to have my trigger in my hand when I measure them. And if I have the trigger for my Sekonic, I can trigger my flashes just with the measure button in the Sekonic. So that would be very useful, but it's like 130 euros, something like that. So 130 bucks more or less. So for this, for the pleasure of having this in one button, it's not worth it at the moment. If I have 10 shoots booked with my flashes, then I would probably buy it, because that would streamline my workflow and it would be quite beneficial. But just for fun, it is not worth it. That's why it is 5. There are most important items on the list, so that's why it's there, even though it is not that expensive, but the cost can actually accumulate. So it might be not the best idea to buy cheap items which are not crucial, because then you may spend a lot, but you got few cheap items which you really don't need, and at the end you spend a lot of money, and you could buy something which is more beneficial, which is more expensive. Yeah, so that's why I got priorities, and I can compare the priorities between the items, and I know which thing is worth buying, which thing is not worth buying. What else? And yeah, the funny thing is that Aputure here is with the priority 5, because it is quite expensive or very expensive item, especially here in Poland. But I know that maybe there would be some opportunities to use it for some paid jobs, or jobs they like move me higher in my video ranks. So that's why I bought it. It's very nice light, even for my own videos is very nice, because the color rendition is much better than 600D. So it is beneficial to have it, but it is quite hard to justify it. But there are more pros than cons of the price. So I bought it, and I'm happy I have it. But on the list it was actually Prio 5, but I got some additional income, and I was like, okay, I can buy it. It is more useful than FX6 at the moment. It is more useful than Deity TC1 set or other items which are in theory lower priority. in that moment I bought it, it was more useful, and it is more useful. That's why it was upgraded from, I'd say, priority 5 to priority 2, and I bought it. Here also with priority 5 is a grip one, so the price is kinda, maybe it's real price. I've seen some used ones with that price, but it's hard to say about their quality. But again, this is the thing of the future. If I have a lot of gear, if I have to transport a lot of gear, then it makes sense. At the moment, it is mostly my want, because sure, I can transport my gear, but sometimes I can use it to transport my bikes or kayaks. So that might be also beneficial outside of the business, but this is just rather the want than the need. That's why it says priority 5. It should probably have priority 6, really. And priority 6 are usually the items that are upgrades for the items I have, but they are like 99% wants. That, for example, this Mega 22S is a studio monitor. I have a Mega 15S, which I'm recording on at the moment, and it's enough, but having a bigger one would be, of course, better, because if I should, I can actually have 2 of them and connect one as the director monitor, for example, or one for the talent, one for the director. But at the moment, I can use my iPad, I can use my other tablet as a director monitor. Sure, the quality is not as good as this one, but they will do. So that's why it's 6, because I have already one. This one actually was the priority 2 on the list, and I was choosing between the 15-inch and 22. 22 was priority 2 also, but when I chosen the cheaper one, because that was the only one which was available, then the 22S was updated as a priority 6. So that's why. What else? For example, the Yellow Box Ultra, I don't usually live stream. I had the A7 Mini before, and it was just collecting dust on my desk. Sure, you can use it to monitor something. Like at the moment, I could monitor 2 or more cameras, which might be quite useful, especially with Megamon 22 inches, which I don't have. But other than that, the Yellow Box is rather the thing I want, that I need at the moment. A few years ago, I was about to stream some event with my A7 Mini, but it died. So instead of streaming, we recorded the event, and then it was available on YouTube. A bummer. So there might be such opportunities for me to live stream something, but probably it would take like 2 years to pay for this item, because it's so rare. So it has a priority 6. And here are MacBooks Pro as priority 6, but lately I kind of struggle with my current computer to edit my videos. It's not the end of the world, but it's not as flawless I would like to. So I would record this separate video how I would choose my next video editing station. At the moment, it is either MacBook Pro M1 Max used or a Mac Studio M4 Max new. We'll see. I'm kind of leaning towards the MacBook Pro, but we'll see. Here on this list, it is priority 6, because before, when I recorded all intra codec, it was kind of fine on my current computer. But since all intra takes a lot of space, I switched to long GOP, and now with the long GOP, it is not as flawless as before. So I have to rethink this, but I'm like 80% sure that I would buy an Apple machine, either MacBook or Mac Studio, that is capable of editing such videos. And then there is some iPad Pro. It would be nice to have it to use it as a director monitor or to edit my photos, but I wouldn't earn any money on this, or like the really tiny amount of money, so it would never pay for itself. It would be a gadget rather than a useful tool. That's why it says priority 6 and it's hanging there with high priority. Of course, if I buy all the items with lower priority, there might be new items with low priority, or at the end I have only items with priority 6, so I can still buy them if I have a budget for them. But at the moment they are really at the end of the list. Sure, who wouldn't like iPad Pro 13-inch with nano texture? But actually here what is budgeted is something, the cheapest one, but I bought last year this one and I'm quite happy about it, so I don't need at the moment iPad Pro, but it would be nice to have it. But it has priority 6, so with all these priorities sometimes I think like, oh, maybe I would buy this iPad Pro. I check, okay, it's priority 6. Why it's priority 6? Okay, because okay, now I remember I don't need it, because there are items with higher priority on the list. Higher means lower, because the one is the highest here. I'm an IT guy, so I work with the priority like that, like P1 incidents, P2 and stuff like that. That's why. But basically with such a list, with the list of priorities, I can see what I need. I can see my monthly budget. Okay, I got spare $500. What should I buy? Should be Dietitios? No, I would buy Kupo stand first, or something with a priority 2, like these roof racks, which are much more beneficial for me than buying something based on the hype on YouTube, like I did last year a lot of times, because somebody hyped something. I was like, oh, I need to buy it, I got spare money, and I throw it away. But now with budgeting the purchases, it is much easier, and it's much easier to keep the composure of spending and prevent spending unnecessary money, and I can like save it for something more important, like I can save for FX6 in the end, or some other stuff which is much more beneficial than stuff I don't really need, but I've been hyped to buy. So actually I don't have, for example, not sure you could see it, I don't have any lenses here. To be honest, I would like to have 24 to 70 f2.8 or something within this range, f2.8, but I can live without. I get F4 lens in this range, and I guess I have the primes within this range, so I can live without the zoom. Sure, zoom might be the beneficial for me for some scenarios, but at the moment it's not even on the list. Maybe I would put it here with Prio 5, because I have to update this list. But for the sake of this video, I left some items with the Prio 1, Prio 2 to showcase how that works. Yeah, so I guess that's it. I hope this is also helpful for you, and this could prevent, if you employ such a scheme, this would prevent you from spending unnecessary money on the stuff you don't need. And I don't even budget my clothing or shoes, because they have like priority 7. So I would rather buy FX6 than a new t-shirt or new pair of shoes. But this is just about the gear, photo, video and tech gear, which is usually related to my photo, video stuff, like a new computer. I buy computers just to edit photos and videos, nothing else. I don't play games, so I don't care. But if I buy a new computer, it have to be fast enough to update my photo video workflow. Yeah, that's the only reason. So I hope that's helpful, and I hope you can benefit from implementing some kind of the budgeting, and this is how I do it. It's probably not perfect way, but I know that this way, with budgeting my purchases, I saved a lot of money. Probably I would say like thousands of dollars that I haven't spent on some impulse buys, because I have a list, I know the priority, and I can like restrain myself from buying the stuff which has really low priority on my list. Sure, this Aputure 1200X is a example that kinda negates that, but here on the list is priority 5, but I know that I can get a lot of benefits having it, so that's why I bought it. But for other stuff here, I would love to have the iPad Pro, because it's like the great gadget, but I know that it wouldn't pay for itself for 3 years or more, so it's a stupid idea to buy it. There might be a scenario, there might be something happen. Something might happen that it would pay for itself on one shoot, and then I would buy it. But at the moment, for me, it's like priority 6, because there is no chance it would pay for itself. And there are some other items, for example, here that don't even have priority because I don't know the price. Here is another tablet, which is only here because it's much cheaper than iPad Pro. In theory, on paper, it seems to be as potent as iPad Pro, but of course iPad Pro is better than this one. So it is here at priority 5 because it's a bit cheaper, but I'll probably never buy it. So I would rethink also the list and update it. Some items might be deleted. Anyway, I hope that's helpful. That's it, and cheers, mate.